and welcome hardworking aspirants. Today we are going to study about literature of India. Yes, the fascinating literature of India. Will also see the Sangam literature and the North Indian literature, obviously the Vedas and the Upanishads and all, and along with them we will also be seeing this Upaveda, where we will be talking about the Jyotisha, the Chandas, the Nirukta, Vyakarana, Sicha and the Kalpa. Okay guys, but before we get to that, quick info for all of you. We're running the mentorship program along with that TSPSC Group 1, TSPSC Group 2 as well as for UPSC CSE 2026-27 foundation batches are also live. If you want to get the details of it, you got to call on the numbers given below. Okay guys, so let's get started with today's topic, that is Indian literature. And when we talk about Indian literature, it obviously will be divided into three parts. That's ancient Indian literature, medieval Indian literature and the modern Indian literature. Let's see the ancient Indian literature. That will be spanning from somewhere around 1500 BC to 600 CE. And if you have gone through ancient Indian classes that we have already done, the playlist is already available, you can check there. So this is the time since when the early Vedic period is starting, and in early Vedic period you must remember there was Rig Veda compiled, okay, and in the later Vedic period you will see the other three Vedas, okay, the Yajur Veda, the Sam Veda and the Thar Veda being compiled. You will also see the epics like the Buddhist classics, Jain's classics will be written there. Then the Sangam Tamil tradition, whatever the literature is there, that will be there. Okay, the dominant languages at this time, obviously Sanskrit will be one of the most dominating language. Then you will see Tamil and Pali and Prakrit. Thanks to Jainism and Buddhism, that Pali and Prakrit will also be there. Initially it will be oral. We have already studied about this also, that there was two systems, that is Shruti and Smriti. Okay, so we will also see that Vedic literature. So what was this Vedic literature? So there were four Vedas. First and foremost, the Rig Veda was compiled in the early Vedic period, okay, and this Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Athar Veda, these were compiled in the later Vedic period. And then you see these Brahmanas and Aranyakas, these are the part of the Vedas themselves, okay. And then you will see Upanishads compiled. What are these Upanishads, guys? Upanishads are also known as the Vedant. So they are the philosophies of the Vedas. In Vedas you will have the Karma Kand, you will also have the Jnana, and you also have the philosophies. In the Upanishads, that is the Vedants, you will only have the philosophies. Okay, only the talks of the Jnana will be there. So this will focus on hymns, rituals and philosophy, the Vedic literature. The four Vedas that we have seen already, once again we will just see Rig Veda. This is the oldest Veda, a collection of over 1000 hymns dedicated to various deities like Agni is there, Indra is there and Varuna. Agni has been mentioned second most times, that is 200 times. Agni has been mentioned, guys. The highest is 250 times. Okay, and that is who? That is Indra. Indra was also known as Purandara. Okay, and then you have Varuna. Varuna was someone who was the god of water, as well as he was maintaining, okay, the full maintenance, the whole maintenance, okay, was on Varuna. So it's a key source for early Indian philosophy and mythology. We are talking about the Rig Veda. Then the Yajur Veda focuses on rituals and sacrifices. Okay, it provides detailed instruction for conducting Vedic ceremonies. It contains both proses and verses. So basically the Yajur Veda is based on the rituals or the Karma Kands that you say. Next, the Sam Veda, composed mainly of the verses from the Rig Veda, okay, arranged in such a way that you can chant them while singing. Okay, it is the foundation of Indian classical music and also the ritual melodies. And the last one is Atharva Veda, contains hymns, spells, incarnation, a practical knowledge related to daily life, health and healing. The Upaveda will be like Ayurveda, for example. So that totally talks about the health and the healing. Okay, many individuals think that it was also a book of black magic, but that's not the real reality. Okay, and some of the past of the original Atharva Veda is even lost, so we can't be very sure about it. So the Vedas are there, and then you can see some of the Upavedas are also given here. If you can see Upanishad, like Sam Veda has this Kena Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. Atharva Veda has a Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. Then you see the Yajur Veda, where you are having this Katha Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad. Isa Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is coming from Yajur Veda, and Aittiriya Upanishad is coming from the Rig Veda. Now let's see what's Brahmanas, Aranyakas and Upanishads. Brahmanas. These are the prose text attached to each Veda, okay, explaining the rituals, ceremonies and their meanings. They provide context and instructions for the performance of Vedic rituals. So these somewhere or the other you can say are the part of the rituals, and they talk about the rituals. Aranyakas, transitional text between ritualistic Brahmans and philosophical Upanishad. They discuss symbolism, meditation and inner meaning of rituals, often intended for hermits or forest dwellers. Okay, these Aranyakas, generally they are talking about the hermits or the forest dwellers. Upanishad, philosophical treatise exploring the ultimate reality of the Brahman or the soul. So this basically talks about the Jnana. Okay, it talks about the Jnana or the knowledge that we know. Okay, and the relationship between this Brahman and this Atman. Okay, they mark the shift from the ritualism to philosophical speculation and form the basis of Vedanta philosophy. Upanishads are also known as the Vedantas. Please remember that. Now next part is Vedang. What is Vedang? 6 auxiliary disciplines, that is the phonetics, rituals, grammar, etymology, metrics and astronomy, developed to support the understanding and correct recitation of the Vedas. Okay, so if you remember that circle, the flow chart, we'll be seeing that. So there this Vedanga will be very clear to you. And next is Smriti literature. What is Smriti literature? That is on the basis of the remembrance that you have heard, the stories which have been passed from the forefathers, from the Guru to the Sishya. These are the Smriti literature. Like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, they were first heard by some people. Then someone told to someone, and then it was basically written down. These are considered the Smriti part, that which is remembered. Okay. Now, let's see. This is the Upaveda that we were talking about. So, the first one, see. It is Kalpa. What basically is happening here, the Upavedas also have a season attached to them. Okay. And along with the season, there is a planet also attached with them. And along with the season and the planet, there is like you can see the mind is attached somewhere. At somewhere you will see the Vayu is attached. Somewhere you will see the Akasa is the 5 elements. The elements are also attached here. The season is also attached here, and along with that the planet is also attached. So the first one, the Kalpa. Kalpa is basically for the rituals. Okay. So the Kalpa has the season, spring season, that is the Vasant, and then it has the Manas, that is the mind, and then it has the Chandra planet, that is the moon planet. Then next is Chandas. Chandas, again guys, this is for the poetry. Now it has the element air and it has the planet Saturn with it. Next is Nirukta. Nirukta is for etymology. And here the season is winter guys, and the Akasa or the ether is the element here, and Jupiter or the Brihaspati is the planet here. Next is Siksa. This is Sarad, the autumn season. Then the Prithvi or the earth element is here, and Buddha or the Mercury planet is attached here. Next is Vyakarna, obviously the Sanskrit grammar. Okay. This again guys, the water, Jala is there, and the planet is Shukra. Okay. Phonetic and pronunciation was for Siksa guys. Okay. And the Vyakaran is for the Sanskrit grammar. And last but not the least, Jyotish. That is for the Vedic astrology, the study, the Upaveda related to the astrology. It is the season dedicated is the Grishma season or the summer season. Fire is the element, and Mangala or the Mars is the planet related to it. It might be get asked, so you must remember this. Now, see, all the Vedas that you are seeing, whether it is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda or the Athar Veda, it is divided into 4 parts. What are those 4 parts? Number 1 is Samhitas. Those are the mantras there. Then you have the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the commentaries. Okay, whatever the commentaries are there. Aranyakas, these are the treatises, and then Upanishad, those are the pure knowledge, the philosophical understanding of it. The first two, Samhitas and Brahmanas, combined together to be called as the Karma Kand. Okay, the Aranyakas are called the Upasana Kand, where you do the worship, sort of prayers are there. And Upanishad again, guys, it is the Jnana Kand. In all the Vedas, you will see this. The first two, that is the Samhita and the Brahmanas, they call for the Karma Kand, where you do the rituals for the ritualistic purposes. And then you have this Upasana Kand, that is the Aranyakas, and then you have the Upanishad, that is for the Jnana. Okay. Let's see the Vedangas. We have already seen Siksha, that is the phonetics, Chanda, that is the poetic meter, Nirukta, etymology, Vyakarna, grammar, Jyotish, astrology, and Kalpasutra, that is the ritual. And there were also the element, and along with the element there was a season also attached to it. Then Upaveda, what are the Upaveda? Like Artha Veda, science of governing, that is the Artha Shastra is there. Then there is Dhanur Veda, that is the war science. Gandharva Veda related to music, Ayurveda related to medicine. Then you have Vastu Shastra, Viman Shastra, and etc. Along with that, you also see the Smriti Prasthana. What is Smriti Prasthana and Nyaya Prasthana? Smriti Prasthana, you have the Darshan Shastra like the Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, Nyaya, and Sankhya Yoga, all these things are there. In Nyaya Prasthana, you will see Vedanta Sutra. Okay, these are the Smriti Prasthana. Now, Puranas. Obviously, you must know that there are 18 Puranas. The most famous of the Puranas is the Bhagavad Purana or the Srimad Bhagavad Purana. This in the green that you are seeing, guys, like the Vishnu Puran, the Narad Puran, the Garud Puran, Padma Puran, or the Varaha Puran, these are denoting the Sattva Gun in an individual. Then the next, whatever you are seeing, that is the Brahmanand Puran to the Brahma Puran, these are denoting the Rajas Gun. Okay, and then you see the last from Matsya to Agni Puran, that is denoting the Tamagun. Okay, these three guns are already there in an individual, in a human being. There are Agamas. Okay, these Agamas are related to the Jainism, Mantras, Tantras, and Yantras, and Itihasa, that is the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as Bhagavad Gita, which is also a part of Mahabharata, is also considered the part of the literature. Now, epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, obviously it is very famous. You must know about it, and we have already told that Bhagavad Gita is also the part of the Mahabharata itself. Okay, Ramayana and Mahabharata you must know, and there can be few questions related to like who wrote the Ramayana, the very famous Ramayana, the original Sanskrit, which you know, that was written by Valmiki, but the famous one which is very common in household today, that is Ramcharitmanas, that is written by Tulsidas. So that all these things you must know about. Then you see the Buddhist and the Jain texts. Jain texts are called the Jain Agamas, and the Buddhist texts normally were the Tripitakas. Okay, we'll see that in detail. So let's see the Tripitaka or the Buddhist canon. Tripitaka means the three baskets. Tree means three. Okay, referring to the three main divisions of Buddhist scriptures composed in Pali. First one is Sutta Pitak. Okay, what is the Sutta Pitak? Collection of Buddha's discourses, teachings, sermons on ethics, meditation, and wisdom. This is called Sutta Pitak. Next is Vinay Pitak. What is Vinay Pitak? Rules and regulations for all monastic discipline and conduct for monks and nuns. Okay, so the Sutta Pitak talks about the teachings of Buddha. Vinay Pitak talks about the rules and regulation or the discipline that is to be maintained for the monasteries. And the last one, Abhidhamma Pitak, it is the philosophical and doctrinal analysis exploring Buddhist psychology and metaphysics. You can say it is just like the Vedants or the Upanishads are for the Vedas. It is the very same Abhidhamma Pitak is for the Buddhism. Now Jain Agamas. What are these Jain Agamas? Agamas are the sacred scriptures of Jainism, believed to be the teachings of Tirthankaras, especially Mahavira. It is written in which language? It is written in Prakrit. Guys, this is written in which language? It is composed in Pali. And these two languages was their official languages, if you can say, for the Buddhist and for the Jains, respectively. Two Alangas, that is the limbs, that is the primary canonical text covering Jain philosophy, ethics, cosmology, conduct, and metaphysics. And then Upangas, these are the secondary texts explaining and elaborating on the Angas. So say the Upangas are all talking about the Angas themselves. Classical Sanskrit literature flourished during the Gupta period, that is the golden age of Sanskrit. Please be reminded, the golden age of Sanskrit is the Gupta period includes poetries of the Kalidasas. Kalidas famous poetries are Meghaduta, Abhigyan Sakuntalam. Okay, drama, post, scientific treatise will be there. And then most important is Sangam literature, ancient Tamil poetry, somewhere around from 200 before Common Era to 300 Common Era, covering themes like love, war and governance. Epics, later works like Sila Pattikaram and then Mani Megalai are also associated with this broader Sangam corpus. Okay. So this you see here, along with this, the Sangam literature. So it is the earliest known body of Tamil literature. Okay, you must remember that, composed roughly between 300 BC and 300 CE that we have seen in the Tamilakam region of South India. Okay, the Tamil Nadu that you can say, it is considered the golden age of Tamil language and culture. Okay, some of the literary works what were there, Tolkappiyam. This is the oldest surviving Tamil work authored by Tolkappiyar. It is a comprehensive treatise on Tamil grammar, so but not only limited to grammar itself, okay, also covers social, political and cultural aspects of it. Okay, next again guys is the Ettu Tokai, that is the 8 anthologies, collection of poems on love, war, values and society. For example, there will be Natiranai, okay, then there will be Purana Nuru, okay, all these are there. Then Pattu Pattu, that is the 10 idylls, 10 long poems focusing on specific regions, rulers and prosperity, okay, that is mentioned here. And then last one you see guys, that is the Patinen Kina Kanakku, that is the 18 lesser texts mostly dealing with the ethics and morals. This year guys you can see Agasthyar, he was the chairman of the first Tamil Sangam. Okay, so the Tamil Sangams which were happening, there were 3 Tamil Sangams that happened. Okay, the first one is said that gods attended that, and whatever the literary works were there, those are not there. The second one, obviously you have this Tolkappiyam, okay, and the third one you have many others survived in that period. Then significance and the influence, the Vedas provide insight into early Indian society, religion, philosophy and culture, influencing later literature, art and thought. They are central to Hindu rituals and continue to be recited, suited for spiritual purposes. Now let's see the medieval Indian literature, what are there. This will cover the time period from 600 to 1700 Common Era. Rise of regional vernacular languages will be there. Now you will see the decline of Sanskrit will be there. Sanskrit will be going down, and you will see the emergence of Hindi, Bengali, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Persian, etc. language. So the regional languages will grow as this time. Early medieval 7th to 14th century, you will see the Alvars. Who are the Alvars? Alvars are the Vaishnavite saints who believe in the Vishnus. Okay, and then you have the Nayanmars. Who are the Nayanmars? The Saivite saint who believe in the Shiva. In Tamil Nadu, devotional hymns will be written for both the gods. In late medieval period, you will, from the 14th to 18th century, what you will see, flourishing of Bhakti movement, where you will see Kabir, Tulsidas, Mirabai, Surdas, Chaitanya and Sufi like the Amir Khusro, Bulle Shah, poetry will be seen. Let's see a bit about the Alvars and the Nayanars. Okay, 12 Alvars are there and 63 Nayanars. Devotees of Vishnu, they wrote hymns in the honor of Vishnu, and his avatar is known as Divya Prabandha. Okay, this is for the Alvars we are talking. Andal, only female Alvar saint who is referred to as the Meera of the South. Okay, please remember that. Devotees of Shiva, that is the for the Nayanars. The hymns of the Nayanars is an anthology called the Tevaram, which is also called the Dravida Veda. It is also called the Dravida Veda. On the request of Chola ruler Raja Raja I, his priest began compiling the Nayanar hymns into a series of volumes known as the Tirumurai. Okay, Nayanar sent Karaikal Ammayar, that she was a woman. Okay, please remember that. And the Meera of the South, that is the Andal, only female Alvar saint who is referred to as the Meera of the South. Okay, here you can see the Alvars or the Vaishnavite saints are here. The names are given. You can go through them. And then let's see the medieval Indian literature. So the Kabir, who wrote Dohas in Hindi, still very prevalent in the fulfillity of ritualism. Okay, the unity of God, social equality. He talked about all those things. Kabir, he was very vocal about the superstitions and all. Then you see the Alvars and the Nayanars, early Tamil poet saints whose hymns in praise of Vishnu and Shiva laid the foundation of the movement in South India. Then you will see Mirabai composed passionate versions. Okay, she was a devotee of Krishna, expressing personal love and surrender toward the God. And then Sant Eknath and Tukaram enriched Marathi literature with Abhangas. Okay, Abhangas which cannot be broken into. We have also read about Abhangas before. These are the devotional verses and promoted equality and devotion to Vithala. He is also, you can say, an incarnation of Vishnu. So this here you can see the poets of the Bhakti movement. You can see Mirabai, you can see the Tulsidas, you can see Kabir and Tukaram, etc. Tulsidas, again we have already talked about him, authored Ramcharitmanas in Awadhi, retelling the Ramayana with a devotional focus, and you can say today's time this is one of the most read or prevalent books. Okay, Guru Nanak is aims for the core of Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of Sikhism, advocating devotion and social justice. So for the Sikhs, the very famous book is Guru Granth Sahib, which was in a way the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Religious and sectarian literature, the Puranas, Bhagavata or the Markandeya Puran promoting Vaishnavism, Saivism and Shaktism will be seen now. Rise of regional literature will be there. Kannada, Telugu, Marathi, Bengali, Persian literature will be on the rise. Social themes will be morality, devotion, social reform, mysticism, and the cultural synthesis will also be seen here. Okay, so that will be important. Kabir's Dohas, Tulsidas' Ramcharitmanas. We are talking about the medieval period. Please remember that. Guru Nanak's hymns, Guru Granth Sahib, Amir Khusro's poetry, Bhagavad Puran, Chandidasa's Bengali songs will be famous at this point of time. Modern Indian literature, let's see, a part of it begins around the 18th century, shaped by colonialism, Western education and print technology. This will have the prose, novels, essays, journalism and revolutionary literature emerge. You must have gone through all this while you were in school, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you have read English, this must have been there while your graduation period also. If you have read English, you must have gone through all of this. Introduction of English, rise of Indian English literature, literature as tool for awakening and reform, themes of freedom, identity and modernity, all this will be there. Regional literature will also flourish. There will be modern works in Hindi, Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, Malayalam, Urdu, etc. Then literary movements. One of the famous literary movements was Darajian movement in Hindu College, Kolkata. Progressive writers movement or the Dalit literature movement will also be there. Some of the important works, please remember, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Anand Mat, okay, Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali, also got the Nobel Prize for this, Munshi Premchand's Godan. Munshi Premchand has written many other significant books. R.K. Narayanan, Swami and Friends, at the Malgudi days, Ismat Chutkai's short stories are very famous, and these are some of the prominent authors you can see of the modern India. Now we have come to the end of it, and let's see few of the questions which have already been asked in the UPSC as the previous year questions. Which one of the following statement about Sangam literature in ancient South India is correct? This was asked in the year 2022. If you know the answer, please pause the video and answer us in the comment. Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. The social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. This looks correct. Let's see what is the correct answer. The correct answer here is B. The social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. That is, the Sangam literature contains references to the Varna system and describes various social classes, showing awareness of social stratification. With reference to ancient South India, Korkai, Pumphuar and the Muchiri were well known as what? Capital cities, ports, center of iron and steel making, shrines of Jain Tirthankaras. I think it should be the ports. Let's see, the ports are the correct answer over here. While the Sangam age it is mentioned. Tolkappiyam is the Sangam age is the greatest work of Das literature. This should be one of the easiest one. It is related to Sangam age, Sangam literature. So it should be Tamil. Okay. So that is the correct answer. Next, the Aham and Puram poems of the Padinen Kilu Kanaku group formed a continuation of the Sangam composition. Okay. This seems correct. They were included under the post Sangam works as against the Sangam works proper. Okay, this also looks correct. Now, both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Is that the right answer? Yes, that is the right answer here. Okay, you can pause the video and go through the questions by taking time and understand the explanation. Which one of the following was a corporation of merchants in ancient India? Okay, which one of this was? Well, the right answer here is Manigrama. Manigrama was a well-known merchant guild in ancient India, especially in South India during the Sangam period. So guys, with that we have come to the end of this literature, Indian literature from the ancient India, medieval India and from the modern India. A quick info for you, whatever how much time we want to go into the detail, it's not really possible that we go into the full detail. If you want to read it in full detail, you have to join the courses that we are giving, and in our courses we spend at least 1.5 hour or 2 hour on each class, on each topic. So there it will be very easy for us to teach you also. And before you go, I'll just like you to know about the mentorship program guys for UPSC, TSPSC and APPSC. It's done by Deepika ma'am, one-on-one live mentorship. Well, Deepika ma'am, because she has 20 plus years of experience of guiding aspirants. And secondly, why mentorship? I always emphasize on the topic of mentorship because it is one thing which can shorten your journey from an aspirant to an administrative officer. It is something which she can guide you, which you might catch in very few months. Rather, it will take you 1 or 2 or 3 attempts. Okay, and it might happen that then also you are not very clear about this journey. So you can call on the numbers given below for the clarity. We'll meet again. Till then, keep working hard for your success. Thank you so much.